So my name is Arthur Callis. I'm the General Manager of Financial Services at Investors Direct. So pretty much in charge of all the propositions that we deliver to clients. So we run a mortgage business, we run a property advisory business, we run a financial planning business, property management business. And so my job is to, put those capabilities together as one, as offer to market and acquire customers. So we had developed an offer to help, planners, grow their practices by giving them, full range solutions, from marketing and lead generation right through to, client management and implementation of any advice. So we've had we had this model, and it was like, well, how do I get it out there without spending a whole heap of money around, newspapers and magazines and all that kind of stuff. And look, I had a decent LinkedIn presence. It was at the time about 2,000 connections, not quite. And I was kind of fiddling, how do I use this tool to kind of promote, my services. And it just so happened that I got a little prompt from Andrew, and it was quite a clever little, hook, where he kind of illustrated, your brand, your potential brand. And it made me inquire, and within minutes, I'm on the phone and we're having a chat. And so, that's how I came across the agency. In this particular business here, it was all phone-based marketing, so outflowing, out to clients, and so ringing up data, and so your skill set on the phone would largely determine the flow of your business. So the phone calls that you're having today from your, your client experience team, we don't call it a call center, it's an client experience center, will determine how well, how many customers you would see in the ensuing months. So not a lot of, no direct marketing, no real internet marketing. We didn't really have an understanding of how to market our many propositions, let alone the proposition I just spoke about recently, or just now around the authorised rep business. So we had to, really understand the marketing strategy. And so since the start of the year, we've actually put together a marketing strategy and a marketing plan, and through the year, LinkedIn and the work that we've done with Evolve is now very much part of that plan today and moving forward. So yeah. I think everyone has a predetermined idea what LinkedIn is used for, and all of a sudden you've got an agency saying no, it's actually a marketing platform to sell your proposition to your target audience. I will say before I head into that is I think people genuinely are using LinkedIn for that purpose a lot more now as well. So I think there's there's a readiness aspect. So people now on LinkedIn actually are more open to prompts where you're actually marketing to them. Whereas I think 12 months ago, maybe even 8 or 7 months ago, they were less used to that kind of, message. And so there seems to be a real community on LinkedIn that it's not okay to use LinkedIn against Facebook. Everyone's very vocal about that, right? And that's fine. So, Facebook's for social, LinkedIn's for business. But so if it's for business, why can't we talk about business? And so I think what's happening now, everyone's kind of getting used to, LinkedIn being a platform to talk shop. So I think the people on LinkedIn are now ready. So it's one thing to have an idea and say, right, we can use this platform to deliver this, but if the audience isn't ready, you're either a very early mover or you're going to be a first mover. So there was a lot of that. I noticed that people's responses over time were more open. But having said that, because you're so present and because we boosted my profile and I created a personal brand on LinkedIn through the influencer program, I think people were more willing to communicate and relay back to me because I shared a lot of stuff with them. So they may not have met me, but if I've asked them to come to an event and they can't make it, genuinely can't make it, they actually write back and apologise, even though they haven't met me before. So, there's this whole relationship building and personal brand building that's come about through the program with Evolve and the influencer program. That's definitely, helped us I guess, elevate the profile of obviously myself, but also the business that I work for, which is Investor Direct. So that's been a good exercise. And I think at the start, it's a flurry, there's all these ideas because, we're learning. So, the team at Evolve and myself, we probably, I guess, jam-packed our approach at the start. There's always going to be a bit of trial and error with any of this kind of stuff. And it's about having that open communication line. So literally, Andrew and I will come up with an approach and would fine tune that approach. I'd be talking to Andrew in my car pretty much every second day on the way to work, and we will be just fine tuning and just adjusting and just, playing with the different levers just to get the different result. And it's all part of the learning. And so it's just a matter of how you then use it or tap into it. So there's a massive influx. And then over time, as we understood how people respond and probably how people probably received me through that channel, helped us understand, well, how do we then do it better next time? And that's what we've gone and done. So we've refined our message, we've narrowed it now, and so I get a much more manageable flow of inquiry, but the strike rate's high. Like my strike rate to meeting, my strike rate to discovery sessions with the planner to actually understand where they're at, what they want to achieve, etc., etc. We're getting to that point much more efficiently, and I'm actually probably getting the planner that I want, whereas before it was a bit more scattergun. And that's the nature of what we're trying to achieve. So I've generated, six-figure revenues from my efforts to date. But I probably planted, I'd argue, 5 times that revenue for me to pick up in the next 12 months. You know what I mean? But you can't measure that. There's no direct correlation between what's been planted. So I've planted many, many seeds, through my activity, which is going to reap rewards in the months to come. But that came from my spend back in 2016. You got to be proactive. Like, if you want to get out there, if you want to push your product, you want to push your service, your brand, you got to be proactive. Like, you just can't expect the tool to just do the work for you. But when people see you being proactive and responsive, it just adds a whole level of effectiveness to your investment. Like, if you just sit there and sit on a lead, and that sits idle in your inbox for 5 days, well, guess what? You've missed the boat, buddy. Like, you've got to be tenacious. You've got to get after it. So, and people love responsiveness. They love it. Like, I always get thank yous. Thank you for coming back to me so quick. Even if we didn't get anywhere, even if it didn't amount to anything, they walk away thinking, Arthur contacted me, I responded, and within 3 or 4 hours, he responded to me. So the impression I left for that person is, this guy's a professional guy and he's responsive and he's attentive, even though we haven't really had any conversations or deeper assessments of how we can help each other. But that's the feeling that I've left with that person. But the next time when I prompt or something like that, or I might think, oh, actually, who was that guy? Oh, actually, that Arthur guy, he was pretty... That's what happens, So you can't underestimate the value of that, because people appreciate proactiveness. Yeah. I'd absolutely recommend it. I think it's, I think there's probably a lot of agencies out there that kind of replicate to an extent these solutions, but it's the team driving the solutions. I've found the Evolve team to be creative, attentive, very good listeners. Would share the pain if something doesn't go right. You know what I mean? So, things that may not work, they'll make up for it in other ways. And so it's a partnership. They take a real vested interest in your business. They spend the time to get to know you, understand your strategy. When we were forming this, we had a series of teleconferences where, I had my marketing agency, so my email marketing agency, my web programmer, all on call, and Andrew would dial in and contribute. And so we're kind of shaping this thing at the start of the year when we're developing the marketing strategy. So, dialing in and committing, half an hour of his time every week for 6 weeks as we built this thing, it was a massive investment of time. But that's now given us the clarity as to how we're going to continue moving forward and what we're going to do through the year and how we're going to use the project to help us deliver our outcomes. So one thing is the solution, which is great, and it's done amazing things for my profile, and everyone just thinks I'm everywhere. Like, I get half of you everywhere. It's like every time we turn something on, you're there. It's great. But it's the team as well, and the people. They actually really care about your business. Can I use a hyphenated word?
Go for it.
Game changer. It's changed the game for us. It's just been able to connect us to a wider audience, and it's gotten people talking. And when I ring someone up, it's always, there's a familiarity on the phone. It's like you're not ringing up cold. When you're ringing up, it's actually a warm welcome. Oh, hi Arthur, yeah, how you going? I've never met or spoken to this person, but they know me. It's like an icebreaker, but it's an investment in warming up relationships. So you connect. So in the old days, the way we use LinkedIn is you just connect and that's it. Whereas now I connect and I'm pushing stuff out, and people are reading it, people are viewing it, liking it, sharing it. They're getting a real understanding of who I am and how I think about things and the business and what we're trying to achieve. And so when you ring them, they already know stuff about you. They have an impression, and that's a. If you think about it, like everyone's trying to fit in so many things in a period of time. That whole investment at the front has shrink wrapped the time to outcome, if that makes sense. So if you think about it, like if you ring up cold, you have to ring up more and more people, and you have to probably ring them a few more times, which is physical effort, to get to a point where you've got enough, I guess, relationship to ask for a meeting. So that could take a month. Whereas with this, this investment at the front, you ring up, you get a booking within a couple of days. There's a sense of urgency to meet you. So all of a sudden, I've saved a month on every call. And you multiply that by a number of calls, you can imagine what's happened to your cycle now. You've actually shrink wrapped your cycle dramatically, so now you can fit in more. So it kind of has broken down a lot of that, that relationship building, time to relationship, successful relationship. It's actually collapsed it, which is great.